It's your favorite YouTube dealer. I appreciate you guys for stopping in. My man High Res has been doing some work with these Donald Trump songs, and I don't know if we've checked them out on the channel. I can't remember. I know that I've listened to them, and we might have done some on a live stream, and I may have checked one out for an upload. I honestly would have to look, but he has one that he just put out. It's a country song apparently. It's called "Make America Great Again." And I figured we should dive into it for a reaction and see what it's all about. I like the rap ones. We'll see how the country one goes. But comment down below. Let me know if you guys have seen some stuff like this. I want to say he's got crazy amounts of listeners on Spotify for the fake Donald Trump music, which is absolutely hilarious and a genius idea at the same time. So let's get into it and let's see what's up with this.
Trump the Don, back at it again. This time in a country star. Shout out Jason Aldean, Morgan Wallen, and Dana White. I could have just retired in peace. I could have been golfing with my niece. I could have been chilling on the beach. But I got too much love for the streets. Hey, let's make America great for every religion and race. Yeah, men don't have a vagina. The radical left works for China. All I ever wanted for the USA was a good economy for your family. Protect the southern border, make a place that's safe for your kids to go outside and play. Look at San Francisco, take a look at LA. Look at New York City, man, it just ain't the same. We all know the radical left is to blame for weaponizing your religion and race. Nancy, tell me how that house is so fancy, but you only make $100K a year. How'd that happen? Your husband Paul prancing in his panties, just dancing with his boyfriend in your mansion. That actually happened. These politicians pretend that they care, but only look out for themselves. It ain't fair. The economy is not what it was, but I'll die trying to wake her back up. All I ever wanted for the USA was a good economy for your family. Protect the southern border, make a place that's safe for your kids to go outside and play. Look at San Francisco, take a look at LA. Look at New York City, man, it just ain't the same. We all know the radical left is to blame for weaponizing your religion and race.
Is this it? Oh, I wanted more. Yo, this shit is so wild. Because it sounds like him. It really does. The AI voiceover is absolutely crazy. So for anybody that doesn't understand how it works, at least for right now, this I think will change as AI gets more and more powerful. But as of right now, it takes somebody to write the lyrics. I know some people say, oh, you could chat GPT lyrics, or they don't come up with lyrics the same as someone who's really good at writing stuff. So what happens is somebody writes the lyrics, performs the song, and then they use the voiceover of the AI to then make it sound like the person that they want it to sound like. So that's how a lot of these are working. I did see one on Twitter maybe a couple of days ago where it did say that everything, the composition, the lyrics, everything was created by AI. Now, the singing sounded a little bit choppy. It wasn't quite there yet. Whereas this, because it's somebody that's actually knows how to make music, making the music, like doing the melody or rapping or whatever it is, and then you put the voiceover on it, it sounds more legit. But that one right there let me know that it's only a matter of time before AI is actually able to completely create the song, whether they're creating the beat, the lyrics, and then also the sound in the recording based on a certain voice, but you not having to do it ahead of time, and it just does it. It does it, and it sounds clean and concise and everything like that. It's close because it didn't sound off necessarily, but you can tell that there was like some choppiness to it, so to speak. Like the AI was having some issues, and it wasn't just a nice flow and a nice smooth feeling to it like a normal song would be. So I'd say within the next year or two, you're not even going to have to write it and record it. You're going to be able to just put some prompts in. It's going to create a song for the most part. And then it's going to also sing it, rap it, whatever it is. And it's probably going to sound perfectly fine, which is crazy. I still feel like somebody writing it is going to be the better approach to it, just because of the fact that if there's any specific things you want to say, then you know it's going to be in there. When you give AI prompts, there's no guarantee it's going to talk about things in the way that you want them to, or exactly what you want it to talk about. So it's gonna be, I don't know, it's a wild place. I do say that it's a little scary. And YouTube is making some changes where if somebody wants music based around their voice removed, like all the fake Drake songs and stuff like that, those artists can actually get it removed. And I believe it's got to come from a legal place, or I don't really know. This we're in a weird time period right now where a lot of crazy stuff is happening with this AI, and I don't know how it's all going to flesh out. I'm not too concerned with like fake songs, and I could care less. I think that it's funny. It's fun to check out. I'm more concerned with somebody like emulating a person, like how you've heard of people already being tricked because it sounds like their son or their daughter on the phone calling the mother saying, "Oh my God, I'm in this situation. I need help. Can you quickly wire money to this address or whatever it is?" And like, so I can get out of this situation. I don't have any time. Like, please hurry. And when they hear their son or their daughter, like they're more likely to give in because they're like, okay, like it sounds funny, but this is my kid telling me this and I trust them. So I'm going to go ahead and do it. And then it ends up being some other person who's just trying to scam them for money. That kind of stuff. Or on the grander scale of like politics and everything, where you're hearing people say stuff and seeing their face, and it all looks completely real and sounds real. And you don't know that it's not really them. And then people start to have a certain opinion about it. And even if it gets corrected, it's no different than like, the best example I could think of is like say the UFC and USADA, right? So USADA did drug testing, and they tested, say, I know Cyborg had a situation with them, I believe, and John Jones had a situation with them where they were like, we found these little trace elements of some kind of steroid, which could be maybe somebody in the past cheated and somehow it's still there. But like they've been getting tested and stuff, so it's more unlikely that that's the case, and it's more likely that a supplement that they took just had some trace amounts, because a lot of times some supplements will be made in the same building where they're using some ingredients that aren't necessarily, you know, legal in that combat setting, but could be legal for other people to take, like everyday people who just want to take a supplement and bulk up, or you know what I'm saying? And sometimes that stuff gets mixed a little bit, unfortunately, and then it could show up in these tests. Now, I don't know exactly what it was that was, you know, in John's test. So I don't know that it was something that's legal in that sense. I'm not saying that it was, but it popped up, and then everybody's like, yo, he's a cheater. He's a cheater. Well, USADA themselves, the same people that gave him the test, did an investigation and looked further into it, and went, it took like a whole year and a half or so. And then they came out and said, hey, we don't actually believe that what we found is because of him cheating. We believe that it's just some tainted supplements, or, you know, something like that had happened. And so he had these small amounts in his system. And unfortunately, these small amounts remain there for a very long time. But because our testing has gotten so much better, we can detect these really, really tiny amounts. And so, you know, we're clearing his name. But you'll still see a whole bunch of people talk about it like he's still the cheater, which is wild to me, right? Because it's like the same company that told you he was potentially a cheater that you're running with this information from, because you obviously didn't do the testing, USADA did. The same company came out and said, well, after our investigation, we've determined that's not the case. And it's like they don't want to believe the same company that they believed when they told him that, you know, like, you know what I'm saying? Like the company said, hey, this guy might have cheated. And so you're like, oh my God, he might have cheated. But then the same company a year later goes, we investigated, this guy didn't actually cheat. But you don't believe them the second time around. Or some people just never even saw the results of the investigation, and so they still run with this he's a cheater thing, right? So it's the same thing with this. It's a long way to get to what I'm trying to make as far as a point, but in politics, you see somebody say something and it looks like them, it sounds like them, and it's all AI generated and you have no idea. And then it gets corrected by like the media or by themselves or something out there. It proves that it was AI. You either may not see that second, you know, piece of information that tells you that it wasn't really them, or maybe you don't believe it and you're like, oh, they're just saying that to just make it sound like it wasn't them who said that, but I bet it was. You know, like you're skeptical. And so that's going to cause some issues, especially if it comes to other countries. And I don't know. It's AI thing could get really scary. But as far as the music goes, this shit's funny. I love it. I think that it's hilarious. So comment below. Let me know what you think. Very long-winded. I apologize, but I'll catch you in the next video, homies.